Live. Lovely. We live on LinkedIn. Good night, folks. Good night. Jared Best Michelle. Getting my amazing colleague Lyndon in the building. Lyndon, I think your Patsy page is on instead of your. All right, look.
Yeah, I
There you
switched
are.
it. Yeah.
Good. So, of course, you know the drill. Let us know where you're coming, where you're joining us from. Oh, Lyndon.
Why is it? Okay, there we go. I just sent the
All
request.
right. Okay. Just, you know, the usual folks, just bringing Lyndon into the live. So, as usual, let us know where you're joining us from. And let us know what's your occupation, what type of sales you're doing, because that's important. But you know the drill. As usual, before we get into everything, we gotta bring our hype person in the mix.
LinkedIn Live with Lyndon and Jared. And today, we haven't done LinkedIn Live in a while, folks. So, LinkedIn Live!
Good night. Love you. Good. Laters.
Night, Zoe.
I had some music.
I see, Biara. Come, let's go.
Hi,
Christina.
Hi, Christina.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna pull my seat. Lyndon, I'm ranting on this one tonight. I hope you don't mind, okay, folks?
No, I don't mind.
Rant tonight.
Let's go.
I have a little issue. I keep seeing, like, here's how this came up. Good night, Alana, right? I've been having some coaching conversations with clients, etc. And something that keeps coming up that I think salespeople aren't catching is they always think sales is a numbers game. They always believe that if they do more, it actually gets them to their goal faster. And that is like a massive mistake, folks. I know, Linda, you're gonna agree with me. Like, chasing after numbers is literally one of the I wouldn't say it's one of the worst, but it's like a very bad critical area you could do if it is in sales. Especially if you're chasing numbers where it's like individual sales, even if it's B2B. It's just not a bad thing. So I'm gonna talk about what's the bad side of it tonight, and then I'm gonna highlight, of course, what you should really be focusing on and what numbers actually matter.
Right.
Right?
I'm gonna be devil's advocate here, right?
Oh, you take numbers? Okay, there you go.
I'm gonna be devil's advocate here. I'm gonna say you need to do more. I'm gonna say it's a numbers game, but it's gonna tie back into what you want to achieve tonight. So yeah.
All right, lovely. So 107 events, good night. Mel 1, good night. And let us know which side you're choosing. Are you for numbers? Sales is not a numbers game, or are you on Lyndon's side where sales is a numbers game? I know Lyndon has a better fan base, so people are gonna back Lyndon. I know you.
No way.
I know you. But let us know where you come from. So here's my thing with it, right? The number one reason why you do not, and you'll be surprised at this, and especially because of today's world and where I'm seeing it from. The number one reason why you do not want to chase after a numbers game, as in you're spamming people, pitching, and you just automating and doing as much numbers as possible, and they're trying to get the information they would out there and be in front of everybody's face. The number one reason why you should not be chasing numbers in sales is that it could ruin your personal and your company's brand. So, first example, I mean, I know you might not have been looking at that approach, but it's something I think about because when I see all those reps who are just constantly spamming people, I just keep thinking I'll never do business with you and I'll never do business with your company. And I'm sure if those persons ever see your name come across their desk, they're going to avoid you, even if it is that you're trying to apply for a job there. So just saying, if you chase numbers, there's a high chance you're going to ruin your personal brand and your company's brand.
Yeah, but JB, my manager taught me that the more people I reach out to, the better. So I have to reach out as much people as possible. So it's just a matter of me reaching out and sending stuff out there. So why not spray and pray a little bit? Why not just maybe throw some mud on the wall? I could maybe safeguard my my personal brand. What do you think?
I think your manager is an idiot and he's lying to you. Just saying. I just put it out there. Your manager, Ignite side. Your manager's an idiot. If your manager's like anything is, we've seen this, right? And this is why you'll try and spam everybody, because when you tell your manager, hey, I've called everybody, they tell you call some more. And that don't make sense. It does not make sense. So I'm sorry. Any manager that's just pushing you to do numbers and call one, I'm sorry, the manager's an idiot. The manager doesn't know what they're doing. And you're probably going to make less money.
All right, so cool. I'll take that. But what about volume, though? If it is that we just have to look at it from the sales perspective, what about the volume? Because, okay, I understand you're saying is not a numbers game, but I still need to reach out. There's always probability in sales, right? So the probability is if I reach out to 10 people, I might be able to close one. Or if I reach out to 20 people, I might be able to close, So, from what I've learned, it's still numbers. I still have to have some level of probability in there. What do you think?
I agree. Hey, good night, Cognism. Good night, Melissa, Garen, etc. I could understand the probability, but then let's go in and talk about this point. If it is that you are doing this kind of effort with that low result, why aren't you looking at improving your closing ratio before you try and reach out to more people? And that's what I always see. Because I've known people, and I'll give you a real example. I know somebody because remember I do a lot of LinkedIn profiles. And I mentioned to this person, yo, you spam a lot of people's inboxes. I know this person told me, I have an assistant who I told them to send 100 messages a day, if they can.
Right.
My immediate response was, how many leads you get from that? Give me a number, Linda. How much you think they get? By the way, the message is horrible. First of all. So let's go. Tell me how much leads you think they get in.
Out of 100
devil's advocate.
Out of 100 per day, I would say.
Let's just say 100 a week. 100 a week. They're doing 100 messages a week.
All right, they're doing 100 messages a week. I would like to think that they get in maybe about 15 leads.
Nope.
At least per week.
Nope, that's too high.
That's too high? All right, so let me go with at least 8.
It's still a little high.
5?
Around there. No.
Oh my goodness.
Less. It's 3.
3.
So out of 100 messages, here's the thing, right? Out of 100 messages, you only get 3 people who you convert to a meeting, not close, to get interested in a meeting. Right. Which I want you all to think about. And look, Christina, get it right. Which I want you all to realize, this is why you have to look at the numbers, especially if it is that your messaging isn't bad. It could be that you have created 97 people who may be turned off from doing business with you. And I think that number is so much more important to look at. Right? So, which is why I'm saying, let's just put it this way. And this is why I'm saying, the reason why I think it's not a numbers game is because this is the logic that goes behind it. I send out, and by the way, I totally understand if you have to reach out a certain amount in your market. Totally get it, But you can't tell me that you send out 100 messages, you get a low closing ratio, and your logic is to send out another 100?
Yeah, no. But that's what it teaches. So, like, the more people that we could actually remember is about 1.4 million people. Out of that 1.4, a certain amount might actually be my target audience. So I could afford to reach out to that number of people towards closing them. So so even if we're looking at it from on the numbers side, if I reach out to people on LinkedIn, if I reach out to people on Facebook, if I reach out to people on Instagram, and plus I'm doing canvassing, I think I should still be able to have enough activity in there to at least, as you say, just have a meeting. Again, I guess I just going because with what I was kind of taught in the industry, whether it's from a manager or whether from what is it I would have read on social media or a blog and stuff like that, because there are real experts out there that tell you to do stuff. So I just go with what I read.
I hear you. And good night to everybody who's joining us. We are talking about the fact that sales is not a numbers game, and Lyndon has gone against. He's the devil's advocate for saying it is. So you all have to pick a side, folks. Are you for or are you against? So you have to tell us yes. it's not a numbers game, or no, it is a numbers game. Put YON, you need to pick sides tonight, folks. Right? Type it in the chat. But so Lyndon, you just called out Facebook,
yes,
Instagram, LinkedIn,
yes, LinkedIn,
other social media, then you're canvassing.
Yeah, so that's real things I can reach out to.
You must be tired at the end of the day, boy.
Well,
you really think it makes sense to hit more numbers? So you're telling me you walk up and down a street and a door hits and makes sense, and then you just say, no, you know what, I'll hit another street? You ain't got. So here's the other thing. Why aren't you stopping and assessing the results? Because no matter what, at some point, the quantity eventually has to convert to quality at some point, because you will maximize it at some point. And this is why it boils down to, you haven't, I won't say you haven't, it means that your ideal client profile is faulty, or some aspect in terms of your approach in the sales process is broken. Something is broken if you just focus on getting numbers. I just say.
And just reaching out to people.
You must be tired, Lyndon.
Or what happened if I buy a list? Because I bought a list and the list gave me a large amount of people to call. So that's kind of where I'm using it from too. So I understand where you're going with that, because you're telling me about the success rate, but I have been able to get some sales from it. It's just that, as you said, I would admit that, yes, out of the 100 people that I might reach, I might get 15 sales. So I kind of burn through 85 people. But, it kind of pay any bills to an extent,
So here's the next question then. If it is that you burn through and they get 15, again, this is why I say, are you looking back at the numbers, or are you just going on to the next 100?
I was going with another 100.
Then that's 40. Because then you're leaving value, and you're possibly leaving value on the table. So it's either that it's either based on your process that you're either determining that those 85 don't make any sense. And that if you realize that closing ratio can be improved, cool. But to me, at the same time, this is still burnout. If you chase quantity, you're going to burn out yourself faster.
Right.
Whereas if you spend your time qualifying that list a lot better and doing a little bit more research, you could probably make 50 calls and actually get 30 people to close, which is double your closing ratio for half the number of people. Hi, Kareen. Hey, Keneal. Michael, good night. Michael is on my side. Quality over quantity every time.
Yeah. So
just saying.
I want to say something, if I may.
Yeah.
I don't have much of I kind of alter arguments for being the devil's advocate, right? And that's all because of the fact, guys, that exactly what Jared is talking about is exactly what we teach, because the argument would always be about numbers. It would always be, well, you're not doing enough, you're not seeing enough people. Well, we can't really justify that. But any manager who's saying that now is a little bit of a lamey, the real old school. And as much as it comes down to the type of products or services that you are offering, similar to what Keneal Lewis said on LinkedIn, it also comes back to, if you are reaching out to 100, this ties back into the webinar that we did last couple of weeks ago, right? Excuse me. And it actually kind of ties into the webinar we're going to be doing in September. But anyway, a couple of things. If it is that we realize that you're burning through so many people, as Jared said, it means that a couple of things. The people that you're reaching out to is wrong people, right? Those people do not fit the type of people that you are actually supposed to be selling to. The second thing is that you're not qualifying those people properly. And then the third thing is that you might actually be positioning yourselves to again, it ties back into the whole customer profile. And I do like what Michael said, because it's something I actually always encourage past sales reps to do, which is quality first, quantity after. I had an old manager who would always say to me, yeah, but we need to be calling more people. And I would always say to him, do you want 100 bad calls or 50 good ones?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because 100 bad calls is more than likely not going to produce any results. 50 good calls, though, or even if it's 20 good calls, has the potential of creating a higher probability of closing opportunities on 20 calls or 20 outreach, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, whether it's social media, whether it's email marketing or social media outreach or whatever it is. Once the quality is good, then you return in terms of people responding and just even getting the meeting. That first step,
And,
you like near this higher.
and let me give you all a real story. So when
So
I
Jared
was in
win,
the
Jared win.
ha,
I'm a convert.
hey Ken, see, all right, Viveka, good night. So here's the thing, folks. So this one, I want to give you all a story just to give you all an example of why it is. If it is that you right now in sales and you are doing a lot of quantity, the first thing I'll tell you to is look at your methods, look at what you're doing, and realizing that something has to change. Because even if you can consistently hit the method through automation and the closing ratio stays the same, then you have to look at how do I fix the closing ratio. So let's add another Q to this equation. If it is that you're going on quality, then you need to be qualifying better. If you're qualifying better, it means that you need to start understanding who your ideal client profile is. And here's something I always remember, right? This is why I think self-awareness comes into play. Back when I was in Digicel, is, for example, we used to mostly use phone books to call and get in contact with customers. That's to tell you how long ago that was. It's 2006, 2007.
Right.
No lie, Lyndon. I remember sitting in my car. There's a park in Woodbrook. And I called you all of S. About 3 pages of S. No, I'm not say all, about 3 pages in S.
3 pages.
Tell me how much meetings I get.
None?
Zero. And you know what I said to myself?
What's that?
I guess this doesn't work.
Right.
And I did not do it again. You know what some people want to do? Continue calling the balancer S. Or, you know what? Maybe I should switch to T. No, it's not T.
Yeah.
Because I was listening to people. I heard the message. So like one, you can start to realize that the people who you're calling might tell you things that make you realize that's not my ideal client. So you need to go back and define that. Because a lot of people said, a rep from Digicel approached me already. So it's like, okay, so then maybe I pick up popular color. You know, like how Wheel of Fortune is RSLTNNE, Vanna. I need to pick something else, right? Or I need to probably pick a different location because a lot of the companies I was calling was in Port of Spain because my territory was Port of Spain. And that got maxed out. Maybe I need to do a different approach.
Yeah.
But you can't say, I just got to keep calling 100 people all the time.
Yeah.
Or reaching out to 100 people with mass marketing. No.
Yeah.
And I'll bring up this thing here. 2 points here. So let's bring up 2 things here. Keneal is saying, for those on Instagram watching, good night, Russia Beauty. Well, is quality will always win as we need to buy from people, as we need people to buy from us, but all will not come with good intent for us to do business. Quality over quantity. Hope that was clear. Not 100% clear, but I understand it to an extent. Understand is saying 100 people is not 100 people. So be wary of people selling curated lists. This is why Facebook wins with advertising. They're able to target your message with people with a higher probability to why they buy because of what they like. And let me drop that in there because I know, Nissan, my friend LaShawn is going to absolutely agree with you because too many times you've heard people say Facebook is crap. You've heard it from the right, not Facebook and Instagram to get your
Yeah, I've heard
leads.
people say that. Yeah.
But as LaShawn says, it's an algorithm. It's scientific. If you put garbage in for your ads, it's going to give you garbage back.
Yeah.
It is not a diamond machine. It's not going to turn coal into a diamond. And it's your responsibility. So great point there, Nissan.
I want to share this as well, right? Now, JB, you would have always heard me talk about some stuff that I did while at Massey and how we were able to take a list of 5. We were able to take a list of 5 attorneys or 5 law firms and turn it into a list of 300 and odd leads.
Yeah.
Right? However, I want to switch it a little bit and I want to say that I do remember there was one particular time where it was like the middle of the month or close to the end of the month. And yes, I was using the phone book. This is way back in the days when I was selling. And I was just trying to spray and pray and just call people or just driving around the place canvassing and stuff like that. And only out of desperation, I was forced to think smarter, right? And this goes back to the quality and everything else. And I remember, true story, I remember opening the classifieds of the Express at 10:50 something p.m. and I saw that there were a number of people selling cars. And I sent text messages. I can't remember how many text messages I sent. You know, I was interested. I sent those text messages and I woke up in the morning and got, let's say, at least 8 responses. You know what's funny with that? I closed 3 cars, 2 for the same month and 1 for the following month. True story.
So out of 8, you get 3 sales. So that
sales. Yeah.
Hold on, I don't know
And
the math. I think that's 37.5%.
Something like that. As I say, I can't remember how many messages I sent, but I know I got back at least 8 responses. But I know for sure I closed 3 cars.
You
know,
see?
and again, it all comes down to it was targeted. I looked at what the people and they were selling. I even actually built a cadence in terms of going through the classifieds and everything else, right? In terms of the messages that I wanted to send. And mind you, this is not WhatsApp days, this is text message days. Text message where you have to hit the key 3 times to get 1 character.
Listen, I in this game long time, folks.
You understand? But we've been practicing these things, and this is over 15 years, right, JB? Right?
Yep.
So it just comes down to exactly what we are saying in terms of now targeting, finding exactly where that audience or that need is, targeting those people, saying the right things, because I'm pretty sure that my first message, the first few messages I would have sent out were not the best messages, but I know I built a rhythm and I started to fine tune the message, the text message. Oh, and here's the thing. Of course, your text message back in the day could have only been a certain amount, right? So I had to be very specific on what I wanted to say in the text message, so that when I was sending it out, I mean, again, it was amazing that I was able to do that in less than. I don't want to make it seem too eccentric to say that I did it within a week. So let me again, if I remember the scenario, it was at least 2 weeks, but I know it was coming up to the end of the month. I had no sales. I was now forced to think a lot more creatively and critical thinking wise. And I said classifieds, went through the classifieds, saw people selling cars.
And by the way, I think that could actually be even more valid today.
Yeah.
I would do that even today.
You must want to buy a car, right?
Are you buying a car? Hey,
yeah.
So you in the classifieds. So you're selling a car. Let me know if you're interested in buying a new one. I work at X and Y.
Yeah, I got people to come in for test drives. I got people. So let me say that too. I got more activity too coming out of just. So I didn't just get 3 immediate sales and then 8 responses, but I got activity. I got people coming in. I got test drives. I was able to send out quotations, but it was better leads. It was warmer leads than just this cold outreach kind of thing.
Correct. So no, and I completely agree with you there. And I think if people I think that strategy that they have might actually still be very valid to people who might do it today who in the industry. So, but a point jump in my head and jump out my big head. I forget.
It's somewhere inside of it.
But good night to everybody who joined us. As I say, we're talking about the fact that sales is not a numbers game. The reason why we're talking about this, I see too many sales reps think about the fact that if they chase numbers, will help them get to their target. But in reality, it is going to make you burn out a lot faster. I think more importantly, because it is digital world and how small the internet has made the world, believe it or not, you're going to create a negative personal brand for yourself if you really go to that extent. And you're also going to create a bad personal brand for your organization. So that to me is like the main reasons why I tell people don't go for numbers.
Sorry, finish your point. Don't go for numbers.
No, you good.
So and I just want to add this in here for you all that listening, right? CRM providers, email marketing platforms, they actually limit you with your numbers too. So if they realize that you are spamming, they will shut you down. So this is CRM provider. So they themselves are not going to encourage you to just send out a whole set of stuff. Like HubSpot only allows you to send out 50 sequences, an outreach to 50 people per day with their email marketing emails. Even if you are reaching out to a large amount of people, they want to make sure that you're doing it the right way. MailChimp, they also have something that's pretty similar where they give you guidance as to what the best practices are. Fine-tune your message to the right group of people and you should get back a higher rate of return in terms of your responses.
So that's why I just wanted to rant tonight, because I see too many people just running into that problem. And here's the thing. At some point, you have to realize something is wrong, something is not making sense. If it is that you're trying this approach and the numbers aren't improving. Because for me, if it's one thing when I look at the numbers, again, as Lyndon said, you start to tweak a message, you look at changing a message, you probably need to send it in a different format, in a different way. But you just can't be pumping out numbers and thinking that making sense. Like, please, not in today's day and age.
Not in today's day and age. I mean, no, again, you could pump out numbers, but again, the numbers has to tie back into exactly what you said.
It's quality.
It's quality. Your message. You understand? your message.
I think that's the main thing you should look at. Like if it is you're having it, so you have to look at your closing ratio, folks. And we spoke about that. And if it's that you can't, if you're not figuring out a way to improve that, then that should honestly be where you should be spending some time in the next couple of days to make sure that you can improve your ratios.
And
because something has to be off.
Yeah, and for sales managers or anyone in the space of sales operations, pay attention to sales drop off. Sales drop off basically means where are you losing those opportunities? Meaning, okay, you get 100 leads coming in, right? The sales team would have reached out to them. How much of those 100 leads would have converted to the next step in your sales process? And then at that step in your sales process, how many converted to the fourth step and then the fifth step? Because if you realize that there's a big gap between 100, then you only get 200 coming out of that, and then out of that 200 you get I don't know, maybe 150, and then from there you realize you get 50. You have to pay attention to what that difference is. So out of that 100 and you only get 200, what happened to the what's the difference? Out of the however I said the maths, whatever the difference is, that's what you have to pay attention to. But at the end of the day, pay attention to what the drop off is, because that is now going to help you to identify whether what you're doing is the best, is good or not. I think I confused myself with the numbers and stuff.
You must say. But yeah, so that's why, and so this live tonight is not really a long one. It's honestly it's quick because there's no extra points. I don't know if you want to add in some points to those y'all who listening, but as I'm telling you right now, please stop pushing numbers.
Yeah. And Jamie Rampasad on Instagram is saying tracking, right? That's where a great funnel is key, and that's correct. So you have to be able to properly track. Now, you could track it with your Excel, but it's not the cleanest and most efficient way of doing it. There are so many different CRM platforms out there. Jared and I are big advocates for one, but they're streamed. I mean, I'm not going down one specific road at all. If you are using a CRM platform, use it the right way so that it can help you understand where your drop-offs are and where your gains are. That is how you're supposed to be using that thing.
Right. So lesson tonight, folks. If you're pushing numbers, start pushing quality over quantity.
Yeah.
You would feel less burnt out from trying to spread your wings too far. Mm-hmm. You would have a better personal brand because you'll be reaching out to better people with quality conversations. Even if you hit a target now based on the quantity that you're doing, you will actually be doing more commission because you're increasing your closing ratios, you're increasing how much sales you have, and you're just making it easier for yourself in the long run.
And so you may also identify a target market that you are better at. So like you might realize that you are stronger in this particular industry than the other industries. So you might realize, let's put some emphasis there. I mean, there's so many benefits to being a lot more strategic than just trying to push out numbers.
Spray and pray. Be a sniper versus somebody with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Trust me. Please.
Be the specialist and not the generalist. Yeah.
That's right. So that's it for us tonight, folks. London, when is the next is September 3rd, right?
September 7th, because
7th, my bad.
I think September starts kind of the Thursday and the Friday, so it's the following Wednesday. You could just double check me. So
sir,
no,
won't we be somewhere September 7th?
Maybe.
Right. We'll do it remote because it's night. We'll do it remote. That's 12 o'clock. Yeah, we'll be good.
Something like that.
We'll do it. Yeah. Right. But what's the topic?
Practical prospecting techniques.
Ooh. And if you're looking forward to that, give us some hearts, give us some flames, give us some applause based on what platform you're on. Practical prospecting. Hey, baby, good night.
Yeah.
24 frames, good night. I think at 24 frames, I tagged you on a post on LinkedIn. Somebody had like one of the pictures that I did. But yeah. Look, the Sansi, he was worried about shotgun references. Nah, trust me, Trinidad why right now. So yeah, it's a perfect reference to what's been happening right now.
Yeah,
but as they say right now, I think I'd rather be a sniper taking precise shots versus just shooting wildly all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just me. Right, folks? So September 7th, look out for that. I'm going to create the events on LinkedIn and some other places. But that's going to be an amazing webinar where we talk about some specific prospecting techniques. And I think, Lyndon, what we should do in that webinar is open up the floor to persons who probably have a specific market that they want to target, and then we should probably tell them all the approaches that is relevant for that market. Yeah. Cool.
I'm going to be sharing. I'm going to be sharing I'm going to be sharing 1 or 2 little free tech tools that I can use as well. So that should be good. Yeah.
Nice.
I came across there's 2 that I use that I think could be valuable to you.
Can I tell you 2? Can I give 2 tools one time just as a bonus?
Yeah, you want to give it now? Then?
No, give it now because people can't forget. It's like 3 weeks again for that. So one of the clients I'm working with right now, they're throughout the Caribbean. So there are people in like about 5 different islands in the Caribbean based on the project that they're working on. But one of the things we did to look at building a database and a pipeline, so this is just leads. We haven't qualified it yet, but we're doing leads, is actually going old school and pulling it from the phone book. Because it is actually still valid. Another lead source as well, folks, based on what you're selling, is your country's Chamber of Commerce. Very underrated. Your Chamber of Commerce. And then last but not least, of course, LinkedIn. Because like in this client in particular, the targets are persons in HR. And in one country's case, which is a small one, it was Antigua, we found 96 leads. So just saying that there, folks, there's lots of ways to look for your prospects to bring people into your pipeline and to qualify them. Many ways. And on September 3rd, we'll be discussing them all for your benefit. So if you want to be part of that, always stay tuned to our profiles. Check out our pages because we will be posting details on that soon. And of course, is that a paid webinar, Lyndon?
No, it's free.
Free.
Yeah, we like to give value. And we're giving gifts. We're giving gifts. We committed to giving gifts this time. See,
yes, Anita.
I think Gail says she's ready to win prizes.
I don't know how we do that, Gail. Remember, is the whole Barbados thing. I have to reach out. Remember to reach out to.
We'll figure something out, man.
Remember to reach out to one person for a prize. I don't remember that.
All right, cool. Yeah.
All right. So yes. So thank you for joining us, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. As you see, Lyndon lost. Maybe we'll do a devil's advocate next time, and I'll be against an idea that he has, and we'll go and see who wins someday.
That one was hard to defend, but that's like an attorney fighting somebody. I know the man do crime.
But you and I think the same. We can't defend old school techniques, boy. We can't. We can't. It don't work like that.
I couldn't be somebody attorney. I had to say, look, the man guilty. Yes, I can't.
Man. Dog, you shoot him, man. You shoot him, man.
I can't defend that. He's guilty.
Yeah. The man. And the girl recorded it on video too, So I'm not sure to say that here, but yeah, it have it on video.
You can imagine that. Sorry to rant here, guys. You can imagine that, Jamie. You're an attorney, and you just have that sales mindset, and the prosecutor, you're the defense, and the prosecutor coming up with some questions and saying, "Shit, that's some good questions, boy." You understand? So yeah, we can't defend them kind of thing.
You lost the case when the prosecutor asks a question. So, Jared, what about so and so? Shit. Damn it, boy. You get me there, though. You get me there. You get me there, though. All right, folks. Have a good night.
Yeah. All right, guys. Take care.